Hello, it's Reija and welcome to another video. Today I'm here to share with you all of my September reading plans. I'm taking part in 2 readathons, both of which are pretty involved. And without further ado, let's get started. First, I am going to talk about my reading plans for Space Opera September Season 2. This readathon was created and is hosted by Thomas from SFF 180, and I have been participating in the past 2 years. First up was the Season 1 and then was the rerun, and on my first go I got pretty far into the Federation track. However, this round I am gonna be a Cheater McCheaterson and I am completely going to bend the rules to get what I want. Starting with the solo challenge, which is to read a space opera duology. Well, I am reading a duology. I am just choosing not to reread the first book and I am just going to pick up the sequel and finish a duology. See? I am reading a duology, just not the whole one in full go. You know, bending the rules a bit. It's fine, it's fine. This is basically following straight on from A Memory Called Empire, and it's following Mahit Dasmare's adventures as a diplomat and ambassador, and it's a first contact story, so I am really excited. And the next challenge in Space Opera September is of course to do a book battle, which is basically the idea that if you are a Federation person, you would go up against a Rebel faction person and you would choose books for each other. Well, me and Maya Reeds decided that we are just gonna have an old-fashioned civil war, and since we are both on the Federation track, we are just gonna battle each other. Let's call it a territorial squabble or something, okay? And Maya chose Quantum Thief by Hannu Rajaniemi for me to read. I admit, I am probably the last person in the SFF community who has not read this book, because it was all the rage back in the day when it was first published. And fun fact, Hannu Rajaniemi actually wrote this whole trilogy in English, and then it was translated by an actual Finnish translator, so yeah. Don't pick this book up for reading translated fiction, because it is not actually translated into English, it was written in English originally. So yeah, I'm hopefully going to be finishing this one as well, because I want to beat Maya's ass. And then jumping off from space operas to a completely other realm of magic, I'm going to be participating in the magical readathon created by G from Book Roast. This has been going on for many years now, but it has since starting, it has now gotten a complete revamp and rebranding, and I am so excited. I am going to be trying to tackle the whole novice path, so that means that I need to read 7 books. Yeah, I am going to try and read 7 books in order to, you know, finish my trek through the whole map. The first challenge is to read a book with a map, and I am going to be reading An Illusion of Thieves by Kate Glass. This has a wonderful map in it, a couple of ones actually, and this is basically about political scheming. Magic is very much outlawed in this world, and the main character has been hiding her magical abilities and working as a courtesan, and then she gets sort of mixed into a whole sort of conspiracy and has to basically fight in order to survive. And I don't know much more than that, and I am really excited about picking this up. Next challenge is to read a book that keeps tempting you, ergo a book on the top of your TBR. And for that, I'm going to be reading The Four Profound Weaves by R.B. Lemberg. This is a book by a trans author exploring transgender characters and lives of transgender people through an SFF lens and through like a world where weaving magic is like a part of the culture, essentially. I have tried not to look too deep into it because I want to be surprised. I want to really be immersed in the story and find out all about it for myself. So yeah, this is also nominated for the novella category in the Hugo Awards, so that's why I'm also interested in picking it up. The next challenge is to read a standalone, and for that I am choosing to read Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. This is nominated for the best novel category in the Hugo Awards. I am really excited to pick this up, and it is gorgeous. I have previously read Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by the same author, and I am expecting this to be very different. At least it's incredibly shorter than Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. The next challenge is to read a book featuring ghosts, a haunted house, or other like supernatural or paranormal elements. And for this challenge, I am reading Don't Go Without Me by Rosemary Valero O'Connell, who you may know as the artist who did the art for Laura Dean Keeps Breaking Up With Me. And this is all about sort of science fiction, cosmic horror, and grief. So grief manifests, like this is an exploration of grief and anxiety in various forms, where the grief and anxiety keeps manifesting in different ways. And it's basically two lovers get separated on a night out in a parallel dimension. A ship that runs on memories malfunctions in the dead of space. A giant prophesied to wake from its centuries-long slumber beneath the sea. Don't Go Without Me presents a triptych of stories on love, loss, and connection. So I think that qualifies as being about supernatural and paranormal things. Like I feel like this is gonna be really interesting, very almost Junji Ito-esque in a sense. So yeah, I think it fits for this challenge, and I can't wait because I love the art style of this artist so much. The next challenge is to read a mystery book or a thriller, and for this I am going to be reading Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. This is a mystery classic. I have seen plenty of adaptations of this. I think I've seen at least 3 ones, but I have never actually read the actual book, so now is the time. The next challenge is to read a 5-star prediction, and for that I am going to be reading Earthlings by Sayaka Murata. Sayaka Murata is the author who wrote Convenience Store Woman, a book I have not read, but I've heard so many people talking about. But I actually picked this up recently. The cover looks so ridiculous, and also I just think that the premise sounds really interesting. As a child, Natsuki believed she was an alien, a different species to her Earthling family and classmates. She hoped a spaceship would come down and take her home. Now she lives quietly in an asexual marriage pretending to be normal. But the buried horrors of Natsuki's past are pursuing her. As she flees the suburbs for the Nagano Mountains and a reunion with her beloved cousin Yu, she wonders what will it take to escape the Earthlings. This has the potential to be very weird, and I am very, very intrigued and looking forward to it. And the final challenge for the Magical Readathon Novice Path is to read a book with a school setting, and for that I am going to be continuing on with Cocoon Entwined with Volume 2 by Yuriko Hara, and this is all about an all-girls sort of boarding school where the girls' uniforms are made from hair, and these uniforms are passed down from previous people who went to the school to every new generation that attends the school. And there may be some supernatural elements involved in what gets imbued in these uniforms and stuff. And if perhaps some form of consciousness from these girls is left behind in the uniforms. And it is also sapphic and queer as hell. So yeah, really looking forward to it. And there you have it. These are all of the books that I am going to be trying to read during the month of September. Tell me in the comments, are you planning on participating either in the Space Opera September or the Magical Readathon? And tell me if any of these books sound interesting to you. And leave me either a spaceship emoji or like a crystal ball emoji to let me know which of these readathons sounds more intriguing to you. And I will see you in another video very soon. Bye bye!